All right. Welcome, folks. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. My name is Ian Capizzoli. I'm one of the admissions counselors here, and we are very excited to have you for our School of Business session. Quick ground rules, and then I will let you take it away, Norm. Basically, this is a webinar style format. So the chat is disabled for you guys, but if you have any questions at any time, use that Q&A feature, which should be either at the top or the bottom of your screen. Send those questions in there, and then we should have some time at the end to get those answered as well. So without further ado, I'll let you take it away, Norm.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Ian. Welcome, everybody, whether you're with us live now or viewing this later on. We're happy you're checking us out. To get us going, we've got a great agenda today. We've got Dean Deborah Jackson to kick things off, and then we've got two of our star students on hand taking some time out of their busy lives to answer your questions. And in between, I'll walk you through just some of the logistics about our program. So before I turn it over to Dean Jackson, just want to introduce Lori Stokes, who's our Associate Director of Programs and our expert on all things undergrad. So she'll be a valuable resource for you when we see you hopefully in the fall. So want to make sure that Lori's name is out there as well. We'll put all of our emails up at the end so you can reach out to us as questions arise either today or later on in your lives. So all that said, Dean Jackson, take it away.
Thank you, Norm. Good evening, everyone. We are so excited that you are taking a few minutes to learn about the business school, whether you are watching us live right now or, as Norm said, later on demand. How about that? We're on demand and we're available. And the reality is we're on demand all the time at the business school because that's who we are. The interesting thing about me is that a year ago, I was exactly where you are, as a parent of a student who was looking at different colleges from high school. And the exciting thing here is that if you've been accepted to WPI, I know that you as students and parents of students, you have a choice. There is, a bunch of schools, no doubt, that your student could attend or you as a student could attend. But we want to help you understand why WPI, and specifically the WPI Business School, is the right place for you. What you will hear in this presentation is a very knowledgeable program team. You'll hear that we have the best program of degree options or disciplines that would allow you to meld your business knowledge with technology in compelling ways that give you a head start on everyone else as you start to consider vocational opportunities. And it's not just about bringing business and technology together. It's also about making a difference, having an impact in the world, because that's what we do as well. So I look forward to sharing with you and answering any of your questions, but we are available for you, and we look forward to welcoming you to WPI and the WPI Business School. Thanks so much for the opportunity to address folks, Norm, and now please take it away.
Great, thanks, Dean Jackson. So what I want to do is congratulate you because you are an accepted student at WPI. So you've obviously done a lot of stuff right in your first 17 or 18 years of your life. So congratulations on that. And I want to tell you one more thing you can do right when you're considering business schools, and that's join us here at WPI. And what I really want to sort of hammer home here is what makes us different from other business schools. So let's think about how business operates. Business is all about technology. You can't think of a business that isn't driven by technology, but to be an effective leader, you need to understand the technology behind the business. That's what we do at WPI. We're that sweet spot of that intersection, that integration of business and technology. Again, technology drives business, business drives technology. We talk about, innovation without execution is just a hobby. And so engineers, scientists, what they do to actually, employ what, their innovative ideas, you do it through a business. So to understand both parts of that equation gives you a huge competitive advantage over just either the straight business majors who don't understand the technology part of the equation, or the straight technology folks who don't understand the business end of it. So if you come out wearing both those hats, gives you a huge advantage. Odds are, when you graduate, regardless of what major you end up working in, or what end up majoring in, you're going to be working for a business. So again, if you're able to, manage people, be a good teammate, a good team leader, that's the kind of stuff we teach you. That's what employers are looking for, regardless of the job they're hiring for. And that's the WPI advantage. In addition to the fact that, you probably by now know about our academic structure at the undergrad level, the 7-week terms, you do 4 terms a year, three classes a term. So you're focused, you're moving fast, you're only doing 3 courses at a time, but they're moving at a pretty rapid pace. So you're used to getting things done early, hitting deadlines. Those, again, are all the skills that, regardless of what you major in, are going to make you a business person before long. Successful engineers and scientists are business people. So why not start, at the beginning with a business major? So what we have to offer for you are some technology-focused business majors and some business-focused engineering majors. So Lori, let's jump to the next screen real quick. Just tell you a little bit about some of the logistics of the business school. So we've got about 210 current majors across our 4 majors, and we'll describe those in a second. About 29 full-time faculty member and a great stable of adjunct faculty who are experts in their field, out there practicing it every day, who come into the classroom and bring that real-world expertise to bring in front of you during the day and in the evening. So we've got a number of business-specific student organizations. Examples would be, we have a very active Institute for Industrial and Systems Engineers chapter. They do a lot of on-campus training at a discount rate for our students, and things like, Lean certification, Green Belt certification. We have a very active chapter of an investment club that in real portfolio where they're investing real money. We have a real estate development club. We've got a CEO chapter, Collegiate Entrepreneurs Organization. So a lot of business specific organizations, a couple honor societies, one specific to industrial engineers, another for business management engineers and MIS majors. We've got a new business development lab, which is a really cool spot down on Prescott Street in one of our other facilities here on campus. What that basically is, it's a community of students, faculty, and staff who are all there working together on the common goal of starting a business. We've got several student businesses down there already. One, Gompy's Goat Cheese. Gompy's our mascot. You probably saw the Billy Goat in the opening slide. So we've got some goat cheese that we market under Gompy's name. Real popular with alums and others, as well as a lot of on-campus events. We sell that, but that's available worldwide through Gompy's Goat Cheese, a student-run business, school student-run business. Another business that was just started, a business called Pallet, which is kind of the Uber Eats of like construction projects materials. So you're at a construction site, you're out of this number screw or this number. You need these widgets for something you're doing. You enter it, you put it into an app, and these guys go get it, deliver it to you, using the Uber Eats application or the delivery mode. So just a couple cool examples of student-run businesses we've got on campus. But what more important is the resources we have down there in the business development lab. We've got some entrepreneurs in residence who are there to advise you. We've got a tech advisors network, which is a very seasoned network of prior business leaders, entrepreneurs, angel investors, all people that can advise you on what to do to start a business. So just another cool thing to take advantage of in the business school. As you've been looking at business schools as a high school senior, you're probably familiar with the AACSB accreditation. It's the highest level of business school accreditation around the world. Only about 5% of business schools worldwide have that level of accreditation. Obviously, we have that here at WPI. What we also have that makes us particularly unique is we also have ABET accreditation, which is the highest level of engineering and technical accreditation. That's because we have industrial engineering in the business school at WPI. So again, the highest level of both technical and business accreditation for our programs. If we go next slide, please, Lori. So talk really quickly about our majors. So the business major, what that takes is a core of business courses. So it gives you an introduction to the different business disciplines, the finance, the marketing, the accounting, the business law. what it's aimed at is making you a tech savvy problem solver, ready to manage and innovate in whatever environment you choose. We do have some specific concentrations that you can select to really kind of focus your business major. All of the concentrations are 6 courses apiece. We've got them in business analytics, so how to take all the information that's out there, all that big data, organize it, make sense of it, but then take that next step and make informed business decisions based on your analysis of that data. So more than purely data science or mathematical analytics, it's making business decisions based on that analysis. So that's what business analytics is all about. Financial technology, or fintech, is kind of that technical backbone to all of the technology that drives the way we do finance today. So if you think about how you yourself move money around, you don't typically go to the bank and fill out forms anymore. You go online, you move funds from one place to the other electronically. You take a picture of a check, you deposit it that way, you go to an ATM. That whole technology infrastructure behind financial services is called financial technology. And it's a huge growth area, particularly here in Massachusetts, with some of the big financial services providers like Fidelity, State Street, et cetera. So that's where the growth is. That's our sweet spot in finance, and a big growth area for us. We have innovation for social change, so how to use your degree and how to use your management skills to make the world a better place. Something we obviously need a lot of these days, and a very cool way to customize your business degree. And then general business, where you take those 6 courses, do whatever you want with it. You may come in here with a particular goal of, I want to start this kind of business in this kind of space. I want to take 6 courses that help me get there. And they can be from all over the university. And that's one of the beauties of a small private university like WPI, is you have the freedom and the guidance to customize your program and make the most of your 4 years here. So that's business, okay? Industrial engineering is really that bridge between engineering and management. Again, it's an engineering degree, but in the business school. The reason we have it in the business school is that it really focuses on that people side of managing change, which is real important. So it's IE is all about improving systems, improving processes, supply chain management, lean manufacturing, sustainability, risk analysis, et cetera. But it's how, not just sort of implementing change, but how to manage people while you implement that change. Because if your people aren't on board, you're not going to make that change. And that's why we've sort of harbored this in the business school, in recognizing how important the people part of that equation is. So that's IE. Management engineering, this is a tremendous major that really should be the most popular major on campus, because this really speaks to our strengths, both as a university and a business school. What it gives you is that business core, but then you take a defined 6-course concentration in any of the engineering disciplines, any of the science disciplines. So, electrical, computer engineering, computer science, mathematics, mechanical engineering. You can also do your own. You could do, robotics, interactive media, game design. You can really put together whatever you want to do, and really, again, get the best of both worlds. So you're getting both the defined technical concentration and that business core that allows you to create, innovative solutions in any tech-driven environment. So perfect customization within a defined business major. And then lastly, MIS, our 4th major, Management Information Systems. This is the business side of information technology. So, designing information systems to create, store, transmit, et cetera, make business decisions efficiently and effectively. If you think of, the computer science as the software side of things, and electrical computer engineering as the hardware side, we're the application side. What do you actually do with IT? Why do you need IT? What IT is the best choice to move your business forward? You can see some of the focus areas that we have there in MIS, so like information security, which is huge, data analytics, user experience, that human technology interface. So a bunch of stuff you can do with MIS, but again, that's kind of the business side of IT management. Actually, with that major, a lot of people who come into WPI thinking, I really like computer science, I'm interested in that. They start taking computer science courses, or they spend the summer as an intern doing CS stuff, and they kind of figure out, got too much of a personality to be the guy with my head down writing code the rest of my life. I want to be more strategic. I want to be more forward or outward facing. I want to play a more of a leadership role. And that's a perfect fit for MIS. So that's what that one's all about. All right, Lori, let's keep going. So minors, another way to take advantage of the business school are minors. All minors at WPI business school and outside of the business school are 6 courses apiece, 3 of which you can double count within your major. So because most majors have 3 free electives, so you take a 6-course minor, plug 3 of them into as your free electives. So with just 3 additional courses, you can pick up a minor. The 5 listed there, so business, entrepreneurship, fintech, information, industrial engineering, and MIS are the 5 minors we offer in the business school. Business minor is one of the most popular at WPI because it makes sense for just about everybody. Because again, as we said earlier, you're going to be working for a business when you graduate. So that's how minors work. Let's keep rolling there. So another thing, BS in anything you want. So major whatever you want, but do an MS in management. And not to get too far ahead here because you're high school seniors, we're talking about master's degrees, but what we just want to make you aware of is that you have room to do more than just your major. And we'll talk about in a few slides actually how that works. You sometimes, or you may have heard people talking about more in 4 at WPI, and that means something different to every individual. More in 4 could mean you're joining more clubs, you're making more friends. It could be you're spending a semester in France at our our Neoma Business School exchange partner. Bunch of different ways you could define more in 4, but one way students do it is doing a BS anything and MS in management. And if you think about the value of the credential, rather than doing a double major or picking up a minor, if you can leave here with a BS and an MS in 4 years, certainly that value-wise and bang for the buck is top of the heap. So can often be done in 4 years with no additional tuition, which is why I'm talking to you about it now, because the earlier we start planning, the more we can take advantage of the double counting, and slotting in courses where they best fit to make it as an efficient use of your tuition dollars as possible. So just to be aware, the MS in management is a possibility. No pressure, but it's something that if you think it might be interesting, that we can start talking about early and plan ahead. Lori, let's keep going. All right, so this will sort of tell you how things all fit together. And this math works again for whatever you're majoring in, but all majors at WPI are 45 courses, comprised of 45 classes. There's 15 that everybody takes: the humanities and arts, social science, the interactive qualifying project, that junior year project, if you recall, where you usually go to a project center, some free electives, PE credits, stuff like that. But then you do 30 credits in your major, which includes your major qualifying project, the senior year project. So that's where the 45 classes come in that everybody takes regardless of major. So let's go to the next slide, please, Lori. So if you think about how we're structured, you do 4 3-course terms a year, okay? So 12 courses a year times 4 years, 48 slots. You're allowed to overload once a semester, so twice a year. So think of AB as your fall semester, CD as your spring semester. So you can overload, 1 time each in either semester. You don't usually overload as a freshman. We wouldn't advise that. So, say you've got 6 more slots to overload. So you got 48 regular slots, 6 more to overload. That puts you at 54, that highlighted line there, which is 9 more than the 45 courses required for a bachelor's degree. A lot of you guys are coming in with AP credit. So bottom line is, and really the point of all this is, you got plenty of room to do more than just your major, okay? And if you think about the value of the credential, like I said before, the MS is a better credential than any double major or minor. So that's why we sometimes talk about the BS MS combination. Again, just making you aware, and let's keep rolling. All right, a little bit about mental health support. It's been kind of a tough year here at WPI, to be completely honest with you. And the university has done a good job responding to that, recognizing how important mental health is as our top priority at WPI. And it's not a WPI issue. It's a generational issue and a sort of a real world issue for everybody these days. But we've really taken a lot of steps to address it university wide through our student development and counseling center. We got a mental health institute being started, things like that. But we also, done as much as we can within the business school, in addition to what the university is doing to address mental health. And part of how we've done that is that our faculty are very both attentive and responsive to student needs and concerns. So business school faculty, one thing we've asked them to do and that they've been very good at is whenever a student drops off the map, so they don't show up for 2 weeks, or 2 classes in a row, they all of a sudden they stop participating in discussions. Any of those warning signs, any time they stop engaging, they both follow up with the student, but also let us know right away. So Dean Jackson, myself, Lori, so that we can, have another person reaching out to them, looking out for them. Faculty also are very accommodating with added flexibility, as students need it. So that could be extensions, granting incompletes. So really just trying to remove some of the things that add stress at WPI or any college experience, some of those deadlines. We're being more flexible with that. We've done a number of stress reducing activities from, different social events. We had a bunch of students just out bowling together. Last weekend we had a day when we bought a bunch of dogs in and did a dog therapy lab. Just different food things. Maybe it's just bringing out the cornhole sets and throwing the bags around for a little while. We have a system that, if we're reaching out, we don't hear back from you, we do an online care report. And what that goes to is a university-wide care team who then, sort of go into action. They reach out. If they can't find you, they'll reach out to your emergency contact. And it's really just one of the things that you get at WPI is that we don't let you fall through the cracks. It doesn't happen here. It starts as part of your Insight program, your freshman Insight program, where you're assigned, your resident advisor, your community advisor, you have a faculty advisor, who are your Insight team. And it's based on, where you live, what wing and what dorm you're on, but they do, initially daily activities and then weekly activities during your whole first semester here to make sure that you're finding your stride at WPI, you're finding where you fit in, you're finding your niche, because there's something for everyone here at WPI. It's kind of the best of both worlds in that you've got the resources of a major international university. When you look at the quality of our facilities, our labs, all that kind of stuff, it's second to none. But it's also a small school. We get 4,500 undergrads, another couple thousand graduate students. So you're not going to get lost in the shuffle. And you can't walk across campus without seeing someone, someone saying hi to you. And so you sort of get the small school feel, the high touch, but the resources of a major international university. So again, you're not going to get lost here at WPI, which is a big part of the college experience. All right, Lori, let's keep going. So just to wrap things up on my end, just the value proposition. Last year we had 280 different companies recruiting at WPI. Keep COVID in mind, so that number was down from what it often is. And that may not sound overwhelming, but that's 280 different companies recruiting WPI business students. You saw, remember, we have 210 current students. So we had, I think, a class of 55 graduate last year. So that's high demand for our students, for a relatively small graduating class. Students typically have their choice of opportunities and are often weighing opportunities rather than feeling like they got to grab whatever comes their way. 91% were employed or in grad school within 6 months of their BS degree. And this last bullet here is important. The average starting salary for the class of 21 was 72 grand, which exceeds the national average for business majors by approximately 16,000, which, when you sort of think that each year's salary increases, in the typical scenarios based on a percentage of your prior year, that when you're starting 16 grand up on the competition, you build that out over a 40-year career, it's almost an extra $2 million. So that return on investment is huge here at WPI. And often, actually, Laura, let's go to the next slide. All right, I'll stay on this one for a second. So this is just a list of some recent employers of our students. You'll see, some big name companies, some small ones on there. So a vast mix. Some of these are, international organizations, multinational corporations. Others are more local. Some go to startups. Some start their own businesses. So you can really take this in whatever direction you want. This is also a good list to look at as some of our major qualifying project sponsors. That senior year project almost serves as an additional internship opportunity. You're doing a sponsored project with this outside partner. And it's a cool way both to have a good story to tell, often get a job offer from your MQP sponsor. And again, just sort of serves another internship. But Laura, let's go to the next slide. All right, so some of the distinctions here, you're always going to see WPI showing up on the highest paid grads, best return on investment, best use of tuition dollars, things like that. Again, it really speaks to the relevance of what we're doing here in the business school and across the university. You really with that technological business focus. You viewing this at home can take you. I'm not going to walk you through all of these, but it really good some good outside testimonials as to the quality of WPI. All right, Laurie, let's turn it over to the guys who are here. It looks like is Tyrese here? Was he able to make it? I can't see everybody who's here. Well, anyway, I'll figure that out in a second. But let me so turn it over to Adam. Why don't we start with you? So if you could first just introduce yourself. Tell us your major, where you're from, and maybe let's start with it. So why don't you talk about your major, where you're from, and why you chose WPI?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. So I'm Adam Ferrati. I'm a junior here at WPI. I'm in the BSMS program my bachelor's is in industrial engineering, and my master's is in operations and supply chain analytics. And yeah, I'm from the northwest corner of Connecticut, this town called New Hartford. And I chose WPI for a variety of reasons. I was really looking into industrial engineering programs when I was picking colleges. I'm guessing like probably some of you guys, I was deciding between a couple of the big tech schools kind of in the area, especially for me, it was between WPI, RPI, and Stevens. And kind of ultimately, one of the reasons why I settled on WPI is I actually came to campus and spoke with one of the professors in industrial engineering, Professor Towner, about one of the courses, and he kind of just gave me kind of a more in-depth overview of some of the labs. Like there's this one lab you do as an industrial engineer here called the clock lab, where you get a team and you assemble a bunch of clocks, and you try and figure out how to do it efficiently over several weeks. And just hearing about those hands-on things really was like, I love this program here. This sounds great. And then I also just really like campus. And when I went to campus, I got a good feel of it. And yeah.
Thanks, Adam. And actually, he raises a good point. I know that it doesn't always work out for everybody to be able to make it to campus, but to really get the feel of this place, again, we appreciate you viewing this video, but it's so much cooler to actually be here and see us in action. I am also a lot better looking in real life. So if you do make it to campus, come say hi to us as well. And Lori will be happy to set you up, class visit, tour with a student, all that kind of stuff. So if you can come visit before you got to pull the trigger on where you're going, please sort of do that. Because like Adam said, there's a special feel to this place. Katie, let's go to you. Again, a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and why you chose WPI.
Good. So, hi everyone. I'm Katie Salvaggio. I'm a current junior here on campus as well. I'm from just north of Houston, Texas, so I'm pretty far. And I'm getting my degree in industrial engineering and then my master's in management, all within the 4 years, which is really nice. And I chose WPI. I really loved the project-based learning and kind of applying the knowledge learning class into real world scenarios. And I think because of some of the project-based learning, it's also just been so good to the community of WPI, where it's such a collaborative community as opposed to a competitive one. And just the support from all of my friends and peers, just in everyday classes, is just so incredible. And I've made just the best of friends here. And I think in classes, just everyone is so helpful. And I love the community. And I love now, I'm one of the tour guides on campus. So I can also if anyone is interested, I'm one of the ones giving the tours. So anytime, I love giving tours. They're so fun.
That's yeah. So we pulled out the big guns for this thing. That's why Katie's with us and Adam. Tyrese, are you out there? I know you were having some tech issues. Can you hear me? And are you able to talk? Take that silence as a no. So hopefully Tyrese might be able to jump in and we can hear from him.
Sure thing. I think I can reassign him. Just 1 second.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Ian. One thing that Katie mentioned about the the collaborative environment here, that's important on a number of grounds, because so it is competitive to get in, but you've already passed, you've already cleared that hurdle. We're not looking to screen you out anymore. You're here. We want you to succeed now. So, and as Katie said, you're working together with your fellow students from day one. And you're working with students across all different majors. I mean, the IQP, and I want Adam and Katie to talk about their IQP in just a second. You're working with students, all different majors, working on a project may have nothing to do with your major, but it has a real impact on the community that you're engaged in. And you're going to learn a lot more learning from each other and working together than competing against each other. So, like Katie said, highly collaborative once you get here, and that really makes it a great place to spend 4 years. And it's, college is probably going to be the most diverse, the most intelligent, the most interesting community you're ever going to find yourself in. And the way that we have it structured, where you're working, in teams all the time with all these interesting, smart people who want to be here. People don't come to WPI because you're just looking to tread water for 4 years. There's easier places to go to than WPI for that. There's certainly cheaper places to go. So people are here for a reason. And, it's to spend time with guys like Adam and Katie and Tyrese and work on projects and learn from each other. And what that leads to is a tremendous alumni network. Our alumni can't get enough of our current students. And, you go on LinkedIn whenever you're looking for a job. If you're looking for, a particular company you've targeted or a particular area of work, just go on LinkedIn, find a couple of WPI alums. They'll help open a million doors for you. So, Tyrese, are you with us yet?
I'm here.
Dude, all right, excellent. Thank you. Glad you can make it. So Tyrese, same question to you. If you could just introduce yourself a little bit, where you're from and why you chose WPI.
Yeah, no problem. Sorry, my heater's acting up in the background, but hopefully you can hear me.
Yep.
I'm Tyrese James. I'm from Patterson, New Jersey. I'm a senior at WPI. I went to school in high school in Massachusetts, so I was kind of familiar with the area, which kind of led me towards WPI in a way. But what really made the decision for me was, as someone who's a self-declared indecisive person, I was stuck between my interest in business and my interest in technology and mechanical engineering topics. And so the thing about WPI is that it offered me the opportunity to do both. And the thing about WPI's business programs is that they're very flexible, which I thought was really good for me. I changed my major multiple times since I've been here. And at no point was anyone concerned that like you can't do that. There's always a way. And so even if your passions may change, or you may discover new passions during your time here, you'll have an opportunity to pursue that 100%.
Great. Thanks, Tyrese. Adam, let's go back to you for a second, since and then we'll go to you, Katie, as well, since you're both juniors right now. And can you talk a little bit about the IQP? Because when we surveyed WPI alums, the IQP is in 80% of the responses, 80% plus, one of the highlights of their WPI experience. Adam, let's start with you. Can you talk a little bit about your project?
Yeah, sure, Norm. Yeah, so I did mine over last summer, during one of the summer e-term. So I was working with the British Museum. So I was on the London site. I did it remote, but it was with the London site. And I was working with the British Museum they have this international training program where essentially like curators from around the world can go there for training for like a several week summer program. And at the end of it, they have these, they make an exhibit. And so we were making a website to house all those past exhibits that they've archived. So not really anything super industrial engineering related, which was honestly kind of the great thing about it, because it was me, two IMGD CS majors who like had the web design side, and a biomedical engineer major. So as the IE in the group, I kind of took on the like project management role, which was really cool because a lot of the skills you learn in the IE courses are transferable for like kind of leading a group environment like that, regardless of what you're kind of improving or doing. Yeah, so we made a website for that, and yeah, it's up there now, and the British Museum is kind of updating it with future exhibits.
Nice, excellent, very cool. Katie, how about you?
Yeah, so I did my IQP last term and C term, and I was in the New Zealand project site, but we didn't end up going. But I still had like a very positive experience. I worked on a project about how businesses in New Zealand were addressing climate change. So a lot of the work we did was we interviewed, I think, like 14 or 15 people in a variety of different like sectors. So we interviewed people in like energy, transportation, kind of like ocean and seafood, agriculture, and things like that. And then also some people in like government organizations, kind of like government supporting or like independent research organizations on what they were doing to kind of help address climate change and like greenhouse gas emissions. And we broke it down into like policy recommendations and technical recommendations for each sector. And then from those kind of things that we found out, we recommended a series of kind of like steps for the United States to like potentially take first in order, just like kind of based on the United States greenhouse gas emissions. But even though like we didn't go, it was still just so great to talk with people in New Zealand, and like it was a really fun kind of team environment. And we still had a lot of fun here in Worcester.
Yeah, that's good. And, you know, certainly a bummer about not traveling. We are starting to travel again. I mean, it depends on the destination and the timing and stuff. And, you know, like most responsible schools, we're, you know, following the science and being conservative in terms of where we let students go. But yeah, for the most part, we're back out there again. And I think it's interesting that even though the students, like in Katie's case, weren't able to travel to New Zealand, they still want to do the project with WPI students. So they see the value in those, you know, in that experience. And you hear, you know, the kind of the cool stuff that Adam and Katie both described. That's the kind of stuff that when you're in a job interview, having those things to talk about, you know, you're never at a loss for words or examples of things you've actually done, not stuff you just kind of read about in books. You've actually done some stuff. Tyrese, let me go back to you for a second. You're probably doing MQP right now. What do you got going on for your major qualifying project? That's a senior year project for those of you out there, which is focused on an issue in your major.
Yep, so I'm finishing on my MQP right now. My project is the Lunabotics MQP. So our team was a 15-person team, which is very large for MQP. They're normally probably like 5 or 6 people max. But our project was to build a robot for NASA. They have a robotics mining competition. They hold every year, and so this year's competition was to try and have a robot that would navigate a field autonomously, pick up dirt and gravel, store that, and then dump it in a designated area. It sounds a lot easier than it actually was. And I was working with a team of electrical engineers, mechanicals, RBEs, CS, ECs. So there was a lot of different skill sets on our project. The way that I was able to interface with that was that it really kind of drew on my major as a management engineer and kind of focusing on mechanical. So I was able to understand a lot of the things that people were talking about. I wasn't lost in these conversations. And the way I was able to participate was I was able to create like all sorts of like analyses and stuff like that to kind of understand how we were using our money appropriately, how we could budget our time, because time was the most important factor for us. As the competition is going to be in May, I think we've been working on this for about 5 or 6 months by now, still a little bit further to go. But I don't think anywhere else I would have had the opportunity to work with over 5 or 6 different majors and such a large team to produce something as complicated as a lunar module or a robot that would potentially go to space. And yeah, it's been a great experience overall.
Yeah, I think you're when you said initially it's more complicated than it sounds. Building a robot to go to the moon to pick up dirt sounds relatively complicated to me, but that may just be me. I got plenty of other things I could ask you guys, but I was just checking the time. I know that we had put a 6:45 stop, but so I want to turn it over to the prospective students to address any questions you may have for either the students, the dean, myself, Lori, whoever. And you can use the chat feature, as Ian said, for that. Okay, thanks, Ian. So while we're waiting for questions from you guys, can you talk a little bit about life at WPI? Because if I was a prospective student thinking about where I want to spend the next 4 years, I want to know, is it fun here? What's a day in the life like? Are you spend a lot of time off campus? There are tons of activities on campus? What kind of clubs, organizations are there? So Adam, can we go back to you for that question?
Yeah, sure. So what I'd say about WPI is if you want to find, like, if you want to join clubs and stuff and you want to find stuff to do, it's wicked easy to find groups of people for stuff. So like kind of like personally, I'm in Greek life, and there's a lot of like I've done a lot of theater and just also professional organizations. It's really easy to join all stuff like that, or sports too. Kind of the day in the life wise, I spend a lot of my time on campus during the week. So like I have an off-campus apartment, but it's like a nice short walk to campus. And then pretty much it's go somewhere to study, like I'll study in the library or something, and then I'll go like to the campus center, get some lunch, and then meet up with people, because there's always people going in and out, friends going in and out, and go to classes and stuff like that. And then a lot of like afternoons to nighttime. Some days it's studying, other days it can be like a lot of afternoons. There's like a couple parks around here. I play a lot of disc golf, so I go to the parks and play that stuff. Or there's just a lot of good places to eat in Worcester. The food here is like kind of ridiculous, the quality of like the restaurants are in the city. And then weekends, it's either like club stuff on campus, doing some studying stuff, or going and doing stuff in Worcester or around Worcester.
Great, thanks, Adam. Katie, I'm going to go to you, but let's we've got some great questions here from Diana. So first one, well, actually, let's answer the second one first, since we're on the theme of it was fun to be here. And any of you, Tyrese, jump in as well. Do students make weekend trips to Boston for fun, to see a game, or go explore the nightlife? How often are you guys jumping on that train? And again, by the way, an easy ride to get into Boston. You just go down to Union Station, which is just off campus, and take the train directly into where do you go, to Back Bay? Is that where, or well, I guess you can decide, South Station, Back Bay. Anyway, Katie, why don't you take the first stab at that?
Yeah, so I definitely know that a lot of people will go into Boston. I don't think, like, nobody goes like every single weekend. I think that's like a bit much, but it's definitely like there if you want it, and you can always like find a group of people kind of like willing to go. I know like sometimes the student activities office will put together trips of kind of like places like that. I think they have one for like a Six Flags coming up, so not necessarily like Boston, but similar type of thing. But yeah, no, people definitely go into Boston.
Cool. Tyrese, you want to weigh in?
Yeah, to add on to that, there's also like an outings club that we have at WPI that plans like trips not only to like places like Boston, but like again all over the place. And every other weekend, especially during like football and basketball season, there's always some people that head into Boston for a game. I mean, a lot of students here are local, so like a lot of local Boston fans who can't help but drag themselves down there. And there's definitely always people there in Boston or in Worcester every weekend, everywhere in between. I think students definitely do make a point to try and get off campus, as it is a mid-sized school. So there's a lot to do out there. There's a lot of other schools in the area as well. So there's always new people to meet.
Great. And for those of you watching who may not know, the Red Sox AAA minor league team is here in Worcester. Great new stadium, not too far from campus. Very fun place to go. I know we as a business school do a trip there each fall. We sort of rent out the loge area, lots of food, beer, stuff like that. So a cool thing to do. Another question. I was wondering if any of you were considering other business schools, or were you primarily interested in engineering and you find you could couple your degree with business here at WPI? So I know, Adam, you talked a little bit about some other schools you were thinking about. I think you had RPI on the list. Katie, coming from Texas, what else were you looking at?
Yeah, so so for context, both of my parents went to RPI. So I also applied to RPI, and that's kind of how I knew about WPI. But I wasn't fully looking at these schools for the business program. I actually applied as electrical and computer engineering, and then kind of found out that I was like, that's not really what I'm interested in doing. And then I kind of switched majors into industrial. So it was just kind of like an added bonus that the business school is so great.
Nice, thank you. We're actually, Ian's telling me we're running out of time here, so let me first thank Adam, Katie, Tyrese for taking time out of their busy day to be with us. I really appreciate you guys. Just putting this up for a second. Anytime you have questions for any of us, don't be shy about reaching out. That's what we're here for. We'd love to hear from you. Hope to see you in the fall. And let me just turn it back to Dean Jackson just for a second to take us out.
Again, thank you. Thank you to Katie, Adam, Tyrese, for sharing your perspectives and your experiences. That has been so valuable to Norm and Lori. What a wonderful job. Thank you so much. And Ian for helping us to have this all together and facilitating so much. You made it so smooth for us. And for each of you that have taken the time to watch and ask questions, we're just delighted that you are here tonight. And thank you so much for your time. You see our contact information on the screen. Norm meant that. Be in touch. You can send us an email and we will get right back to you. But we are truly looking forward to you joining us in the fall, where you can be a part of the herd in the WPI Business School. Thank you so much. Have a great evening.